Hello, 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 my amigos. Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of what I hope is your favorite English show on Vaughn Radio, or for that matter, anywhere. Folks, welcome to the show with no name 2.0, your interactive, exciting English show. And everybody fasten your seatbelts because it's time for liftoff.
T-minus 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
4,
3, 2.
1.
Come on, folks.
0.
We
Ignition.
got this. Come on.
Liftoff. Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio. It's a show with no name. It's the show. Let's go.
That's right, amigos. That's right. Welcome. Welcome one, welcome all. It is time for another exciting edition of the show with no name, helping you get through your week in style. And as always, we are going to learn, we are going to laugh, and who knows, you might even make some friends. I know I've made some wonderful friends, not just here on Vaughn Radio. You know, the hosts are obviously great friends of mine. Kyle, Rob Grams, Andy, Dave Boys, just amazing people, great teachers, and you've got them all day long here on Vaughn Radio. All you have to do is download our free app and you won't miss a beat. Also, follow us on social media. And if you're following us on social media, you'll know that it is officially upon us. It's tomorrow, folks. Tomorrow is our last Vaughn Radio Trivia Night of 2022.
In a world where everybody knows the answers, only 3 people have the questions. Only 3 people.
You're right there, Rob.
I'm all right. Hey, guys, it's Vaughn Trivia Night. Bah, 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 bah.
Woo!
30th of November, it's the lunchtime cruise turn at the Trivia Night. And that's me, the Natch, Andy.
Yes, indeed. You're going to see all 3 of us at Roll Madrid in Calle Amaniel number 23. Calle Amaniel number 23, 8:30, November 30th. See you there.
Don't miss it, folks. We're all going to be there. It is the 30th, right? The third. Let me check my notes here. November 30th, and it's at 8:30. I recommend you get there a little bit early because part of the strategy here of trivia nights is having a good team, having a well-rounded team. So I highly encourage you or urge you to get there around 8. Also, if you get there at 8:30, just think everybody's getting there around 8:30 and they're all trying to order a beer. But if you get there at 8, you won't have any problems ordering a beer or something to eat. We say it in English all the time. The early bird gets the worm. You can say the early bird gets the worm or the early bird catches the worm, as the idiomatic expression goes. We're going to learn a lot of idiomatic expressions today on the show. And just a quick reminder, though, if you want, we've got tons of books at our Vaughn Tienda, books that have to do with idiomatic expressions, grammar-based books, vocabulary books, and don't forget our Disney collection as well. It's coming out every Saturday at your local newsstand with El Mundo and Marca. And if you're looking for some Christmas gifts, remember, I have 4 books. I have tengo que pensarlo, English Everywhere. I have This Book is the Milk. I have English on the Go. and the recently re-released This Book is the Milk 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to you live from the funeral.
Señoras y señores, nos dirigimos a ustedes desde el funeral real.
What a sad day it is, for This Book is the Remilk.
Es un día triste para This Book is the Remilk.
It is a book that was loved by many and will be missed by all.
Es un libro que fue adorado por muchos y será extrañado por aún más.
But don't fret, no, don't worry,
Pero no se preocupen,
because the Remilk will be reborn
porque This Book is the Remilk volverá a nacer
with a new name, a new cover, and brand new audio.
con un nuevo nombre, una nueva portada y ahora con audio.
It's called This Book is the Milk 2.
Se llama This Book is the Milk 2
And it will usher in a new age.
y nos adentrará en una nueva era.
All hail! This Book is the Milk 2, the new leader.
¡Viva This Book is the Milk 2, el nuevo rey!
Long live! This Book is the Milk 2.
¡Larga vida al nuevo rey! This Book is the Milk 2.
That's right, amigos. You know it, folks. It is awesome, and it's This Book is the Milk 2, now with audio. Now, if you already have This Book is the Remilk, you can get that audio. Contact us over at Vaughn, and they'll give you the information. I know it's available on Amazon Audible. Now, if you have the book, you should be able to have access to that, no problem. But if not, you can contact us, and I'm sure if you already have This Book is the Remilk, the collector's edition, as I might add, you can get the audio. You should be able to get it. And also, if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, I believe you get access to it anyway. So also remember, I've got another podcast. I've got a couple. So we do the show with no name, which then becomes a podcast. I do FYI, which I produce every week, and that's my production from, the first little seed, la primera semilla, all the way to that last edit, that final cut where I'm like, okay, perfecto. Let's send it off. Let's upload it. Remember, subir algo is upload. Y descargar, muy fácil. Download. Well, hey, this is vocabulary we didn't use when I was a kid. Why? We didn't have internet. Did you guys have internet? Well, I guess some of you when you were a kid, but I think it's interesting, the generation that I live in, and many people of my age, we kind of lived both worlds, and we might be that last generation there to have experienced the analog world and the digital world. And I feel like there's something that we have to conserve from the analog world. I feel like digital can't be a substitute for everything. In fact, the more I hear about this metaverse crap, the more I want to run the other way. Quiero huir en la otra dirección. I want to run the other way. All right, well, folks, we've got a lot of challenges lined up for you, and I hope you don't run the other way. I hope you run towards us. Esta palabra lo hemos visto bastante últimamente. Hacia, towards. I hope you run towards us, because we're going to kick off with today's pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, amigos. It is our pop quiz examen sorpresa. This is where we take a look at some content that one of my buddies, one of my co-workers has put out there. We've looked at stuff from our friends at Vaughn. So, stuff that Vaughn, the Vaughn account is posting. We've looked at stuff that Kyle Miller's posting. We've looked, I call this kind of like a merry-go-round. You know this word? Merry-go-round. Felicidad va en círculos. Es un tío vivo. A merry-go-round, we call it. I think it's one of the coolest words. I think I was talking about that last week about, putting together a compilation of my favorite words. Like I said, discombobulated. I mean, that's a fun word to say. Discombobulated. I like the words with the the plosive, like the word bubble. I just love saying the word bubble. Have you ever stopped to say the word bubble? Bubble. It's. I mean, it is what it. You literally make a bubble with your cheeks, tus mofletes, when you say the word bubble. I mean, you can't get more self-explanatory than that. All right, let's take a look at today's pop quiz. Today it's sponsored from the boys at one of our favorite shows, or at least one of my favorite shows, because I am a sports buff. Me encanta el deporte. You know what show I'm talking about. The ever exciting Speaking Football.
Captain has done it!
Fantastic save! Unbelievable! The stuff dreams are made of!
All right. Speaking Football every Friday on Vaughn Radio. But remember, guys, if you have our app, you can listen to it whenever you want. If you subscribe or follow, now they used to use the word subscribe for podcasts, but then people thought they had to pay. And podcasts, in my case, half of one episode every week is free. It's for everybody. But of course, as with many podcasts, there's free content and then there's content that you have to pay for. Nosotros decimos it's behind a paywall. This happens with a lot of New York Times or these major publications. They're like, oh yeah, we'll let you read a few articles, but if you want more, if you're interested in more, then it's pay to play, which is great too, because, listen, all the free stuff we can get, great. Vaughn Radio, all the posts, that's all free. But, anytime you spend money on your English, in my opinion, at least, I don't consider that like, blowing money. To blow money is another way of saying to waste money. I consider that an investment. You're investing in yourself. Any kind of education or training, formación, all of that is, college in the United States, la universidad, it's so expensive. But the way people justify it is they say, well, I want to get a good job. And if I get a good job, then I can pay off, pagar a plazos, I can pay off my student loans, which is a hot topic right now. Es un tema de debate ahora. These student loans, los préstamos universitarios. Big thing now. It's being debated, between the government saying, okay, we went too far. Okay, we ripped people off a little bit. Not just the government, but these institutions, these lending organizations de préstamo, they lend you, te prestan dinero, these lending organizations. But of course, they should be regulated, right, by the government. So I think everybody's at fault here. But then there's another side of that coin, as always, that says, well, you knew how much it was. I mean, it was all there. You signed a contract that said, I agree to pay this money at this interest. And, if not, well, that's the deal. So, some people are saying, too bad, suck it up. Suck it up is ajo y agua. Suck it up, I have to say somewhere in between. Okay. I understand that college can be an investment and it's expensive. Remember, college is universidad. I'm not talking about colegio. It's a false friend. But again, is it worth it? I don't know. I can't make that decision for you. Nowadays, you're seeing that some of the most coveted, buscado, some of the most sought after, son dos palabrones, ahí apunta, coveted or sought after. Sought viene del verbo to seek, buscar. Some of the most coveted or sought after professions right now are plumbers, fontaneros, electricians, people who can work with their hands. Okay, because we've got a lot of IT specialists now. No, gente de informática. We've got tons of IT specialists, which is great. We work in a digital world. It's a lot of, things wouldn't work without the digital, even companies that are not digital, they need their digital presence, their online presence, as it's called. All right, well, let's take a look at today's pop quiz, sponsored by my good friends Ruben Palomero and Tommy Hay. By the way, if you're not following them, guys, right now is the World Cup. And they're not only going to be giving you, key vocabulary, but they'll keep you up to date. Os mantendrán al día de la Copa del Mundo. They'll keep you up to date on this World Cup, but they'll be giving you the vocabulary you need to be able to talk about this in English. And I know Tommy, I don't know where it is. You'll have to follow him on Twitter. I'm sure he shared it. In fact, I think I retweeted it. Tommy has been putting together these little videos that are explaining things. They're very visual. O sea, ves todo delante de tu cara. Very, very visual videos. And says, okay, Ireland or this team. He tells you the team's names, maybe if there's a little pronunciation thing, some vocabulary. Fascinating videos. Also, don't forget, you've got my videos. They usually don't have anything to do with soccer, but I post a video a day. And what does that mean to you guys? A mini lesson. You get, at least for me, forget about this show, which is a 2-hour lesson. You get a mini little lesson every day. So now it's in your hands to take it and run with it. Do you know this expression? To take it and run with it, escogerlo y aprovecharlo al máximo, ¿no? No tirarlo. To take it and run with it. If you take something and run with it, it means you didn't only do what I expected, but you did more. It's almost like going the extra mile, okay? Si lo piensas, it's about when they pass a baton, right? En esto de pasar el listón, is that what you call it? The baton? When you're racing. Okay, a relay race is cuando pasas, I think bastón. Now I need to look at the word. See, I'm going to look it up. Remember, so baton. The word baton is bastón. Oh, porra. No, pero ese es de policía. Oh, relay, testigo. Are you serious? There's a double trouble in Spanish. You guys aren't the only ones learning here. Testigo, witness, is also el palo que pasas in a relay race. Batuta. No, okay, that's the conductor's thing, del director de orquesta. We call el director de orquesta the conductor. So el testigo, no, guys, I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years. So to pass the baton, y el tipo de carrera, I think is de relevo. Let's see. I'm going to take a guess, but let's look it up. Carrera de relevos. Okay, I said posta. It says posta here. So if you think about it, you took it and ran with it. O sea, cogiste lo que te di y te fuiste a tope. O sea, lo hiciste muy bien, lo hiciste con ganas, lo hiciste con un poco de urgencia. You did a great job. You took it and ran with it. Okay, so I posted something too similar to this the other day. And they posted, the boys from Speaking Football, chupar banquillo. I like this one because the image is very clear in Spanish. I can see somebody sitting next to el banquillo. No te lo voy a decir en inglés, porque me lo vais a decir vosotros. And I can see the guy sitting there going. So here's the translation. Pues ya ves, vuelvo a chupar banquillo. How would you say this? I taught you the other day I taught you how to say the word, how you would call somebody, the noun. Yo era un chupabanquillos. Pero aquí lo usan de otra forma. ¿No? Y es bueno, miraremos los dos. We'll take a look at both. Pues ya ves, vuelvo a chupar banquillo. Okay? Let's see if you guys know, if you can figure that one out. The one I gave you guys the other day is to be a bench warmer. I posted a picture of me. Yeah. I think I was like 5 years old with my soccer uniform on. I'm looking the part, but I was horrible. I was so bad. I've never been good at sports, but I love sports because I get it. But I'm just I'm not, I don't know what it is. I'm not graceful. I'm not athletic, I guess, but I do love sports. I love watching them. I believe that we can learn a lot. I mean, some of the most disciplined people I know are people who are into sports, are athletes. Look at a perfect example in our group of students here, Born to Iron Man, right? I mean, look at this guy. He is disciplined in his diet, in his exercise, in his English, and in his life in general. So I think we can always learn a great lesson from any sport, regardless of whether we like the sport or not. And I'm not just talking about idiomatic expressions, like from tennis. The ball's in your court. La pelota está en tu tejado. But I'm talking about, sportsmanship, como decimos, deportividad. All right, let's see if we've got a winner over here in our chat room. Folks, give it up for Paco. Nice job, Paco. Awesome. Pues ya ves. How would we say this? Well, as you can see, como puedes ver, as you can see, vuelvo a chupar banquillo. Well, here he translated it simply as I'm on the bench again. And very important because that preposition throws people off. I'm in the bench. Well, then you are a molecule of wood. Eres una molécula de madera if you're in the bench. Okay? ¿Me entiendes? Estás dentro de, metido den. If you're at the bench, you can be in the general area. And if you're on the bench, think about it. You're sitting on the bench. And I know what it was like to sit on the bench. I was always on the bench. I was what you call a bench warmer. And let's take a look at that word because it tends to be a bit confusing. The word warm and worm. In fact, I'm going to add this to my list of videos. Warm and worm. And let me show you guys, just so you know that I'm always thinking of things to come up with videos for you guys. Look at that. I have lists everywhere. I love to make lists. Ojo, no decimos to-do lists. Bueno, a to-do list, te voy a dar una frase buena. I need to make a to-do list. Tengo que hacer una lista de cosas que tengo que hacer. So, empleamos el verbo to make para hacer una lista. Pero una lista de cosas que tengo que hacer is a to-do, por hacer, a to-do list. And these words I've got, if you're watching us in the live stream, these words, these expressions are all going to end up being videos that you guys are going to get. And the only thing you have to do is follow us on social media. And as you can see, you can learn this vocabulary too, on the bench. Also, when we talk about the bench, a lot of times we're talking about in a courtroom as well. So there's another usage of bench. Let's see if they have it here. Bueno, en el gimnasio, to bench press. Hacer banca, I think you say. No, this is when you lie on your back and you're working your chest muscles, if I'm not mistaken, your pecs. But also the bench es los jueces. Esta es la que buscaba, right? Magistratura. Let me give you an example that they've got two different examples here. So again, context. Pay attention to what's going on, and you're going to know which one it is, right? So the prosecutor, el fiscal, asked the bench to pass the maximum sentence. Now, ¿tú crees que está hablando con un banquillo ahí? No. There, we're talking about the judges. So again, if you're paying attention, you might even catch it in context. I think of these courtroom dramas. Okay, you may now approach the bench. Uno ya se puede acercar a los jueces. La magistratura. And oh, by the way, I didn't tell you this, going back to the other meaning of bench, el banquillo. Did you know it's a verb? Yeah, that's right. If you don't get your act together, si tú no te pones las pilas, you are gonna be benched. We're gonna bench you. That's right. Bench es un verbo regular. He was benched. To bench someone is relegarle al banquillo. But my problem is, it's not that I was benched. I mean, I started on the bench and I ended the games on the bench. And usually what we say, el primer equipo, para seguir con este vocabulario, is the first string players. First, de primera cuerda, first string. second string, third string. Yo creo que ves donde va esto. And of course, you've got my category. I was fourth string, so cuarta. I was the fourth option if they needed somebody to play in the outfield, which is usually the position they give to people who who don't pay attention. My dad always tells me, he said, Alberto, you were in the outfield. And do you know the expression? If you don't, we have an FYI episode on baseball. To be in the outfield or to be in left field is estás por ahí, estás perdido. And my dad said, he goes, I was worried because if they hit the ball over to you, you were going to get knocked in the head because you were too busy looking at the bugs and looking at the grass and everything else. I told you I wasn't the athletic type. I know. You look at my body and you say, wow, I didn't know that. You look so athletic. I'm just kidding. Folks, we have to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with tons more Show with No Name. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 2 of today's Show with No Name, exclusively on Vaughn Radio. It's a pleasure to have you guys with us each and every day. Sí, se puede decir every day, pero a veces le damos énfasis and we say each and every day. Absolute pleasure to read your names. All my super Show with No Namers. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode of FYI, the last new one of 2022. It's with my good friend Rob Grams, and we talk about art. We get pretty deep, but I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I've already gotten some amazing feedback on that. And don't forget, if you want to see Rob Grams in the flesh, along with Andy Vaughn and The Notch. That's what they call him, The Notch. Remember, it's November 30th. That's tomorrow. If you're listening to this live, it's at Roll Madrid, Calle Amaniel, number 23, o como lo decimos en inglés, 23 Amaniel Street. The brewery and restaurant, cervecería, is called Roll Madrid. Come one, come all, because we are going to have a blast. We do it every time. When I hosted last month, I had such a good time, and I really needed it. You guys have no idea how much I needed to have a good time. Well, some of you know I just had a really difficult November. In fact, I'm glad November's over. And okay, today's the 29th. I forget what date it is exactly, but I know we're nearing the end of November. And even though November is my birthday month, it's Thanksgiving, I just want it to be over. Wake me up when November ends. All right, my amigos, we have so much to do in today's show. So for our Say What soundbite right now, we are going to listen to what I would say is a very well-known voice in the Anglosphere, in el mundo angloparlante, a very well-known voice. I don't want to give you too much information, but you guys know how this works. I'm going to play this clip for you 4 times. You'll get 4 chances to write down word for word what you hear. Then what I want you to do is, firstly, I should say, that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is write down word for word what you heard. I don't want you to miss one comma. But first and foremost, antes que nada, I want you to give me your opinion in your best English. Now, even if you're not participating live, you can grab a piece of paper, you can grab a pen, and you can write this down. And then remember to go all the way and say it aloud. Siempre hay que decir lo que escribimos en voz alta. No nos vale con saber la estructura de algo, right? Just knowing the structure. Okay, to look forward to más ing. Muy bien, en teoría. Pero la vida no es teoría. It's not theory. You know, we're here trying to use it. So when you learn an expression, when you learn a structure, put it into practice. Do it aloud, en voz alta, and do it before you forget how it sounds. You know, proximity to the moment is so important. I see it with my daughter. I'll say something and she literally waits a fraction of a second to repeat it. So she's got it fresh. And in fact, one of my favorite things she does, it's actually really funny, is she repeats the ends of my sentences. So sometimes I'll say a long sentence, like, do you want to go over your grandma's house to go have some cake for your birthday? And she goes, yeah, I want a cake for your birthday. and I'm like, good. You got it. You got the last part. So the same here. You're listening. You're trying to analyze what you hear and make some sense of it. So folks, here it is. This is our Say What soundbite for the first time. Please write down as much as you possibly can.
I'm sorry, buddy. You seem like a really nice guy, but I just got out of a really bad relationship, so I'm not quite ready to start dating yet. But hey, maybe we could be friends.
All right, there you go, folks. There you go. I think it's crystal clear. Nobody should have too much difficulty jotting that down. But again, first, I want you to give me an analysis of what you heard. Remember, the verb is to analyze, and the noun is an analysis. Y fijaos, va con an, right? An analysis. Y cada vez que ponemos el an, la N se une con la otra parte. Vamos a ver algunos. An owl, an owl, an owl, an owl. We don't separate it. An ambulance, an am. It's an am. It's not an ambulance. It's an ambulance. An owl, an honor, an on. So I want you, that's a really good pronunciation things that you guys can do aloud. Let's take a look at it. If you want, we can do it now, because honestly, no better time than when it comes up, cuando surge, because I've seen a lot of people mix up these or not make the and sound or not put them together. Let's see if we can get some examples of an. Okay, let's do a couple of these. And I want you to pronounce them. Remember, proximity, right when you hear it. An apple. An apple. It's an apple. O sea, an apple. An apple. Do you want an apple? An apple. Suena a an apple. ¿O no? Yo lo digo y tú me dices cómo suena. Do you want an apple? An apple? Wow, that's difficult. Well, it's not difficult if that's the way you're used to saying it, but quiero que dejes de pausar ahí cada vez. Get a list. An egg. An egg. An egg. Do you want an egg? An egg? Un huevo. Another one. An island. An eye. It's like Anai, that name, Anai. He lives on an island. Anai. There's no pause. Don't even think about putting a pause there. It doesn't sound natural. An article. He's reading an article. If you guys are not repeating these aloud, I'm going to be upset. I'm doing these for you. I want you to really get this sound, because you can really sound much more native by making these little adjustments, these little tweaks. An umbrella. Anum. There's no pause. An umbrella. Do you need an umbrella? An umbrella. I've got to wait an hour. An hour. That's a very common one, right? It's an honor. It's an honor. And also remember, when it doesn't only have to be a vowel. It can be a vowel sound. So honor is un H, pero usamos el an. It's an honor. Lo digo mucho en el programa aquí. Ahora tenéis que imitarme. It's an honor. What was another one I was just thinking of? An actor. He's an actor. ¿Ves la N va con actor? An actor. Are you an actor? Yes, I'm an actor, an actor. So it's like you're saying y la N va con la otra parte. Another common pronunciation thing is the ED with the it. Did you watch it? Yes, I watched it. O sea, la ED suena una T, right? I watched it. Pero no pausamos ahí. O sea, I watched it. Porque es mucho más fácil poner esa T con la IT que con el final del watch. So, did you watch it? Yes, I watched it. Right? Lo estoy dando énfasis para que lo oigas perfectamente. Okay? Did you wash it? Wash, lavar. Yes, I washed it. I washed it. Es como lavar teta, lo sé. Es como vigilar teta. But that's, hey, if it helps you pronounce it correctly, that's awesome. And I'm going to tell you, these little tweaks will make all the difference. It'll give the impression that you speak much better English than you do if you know how to pronounce well. So, do you need to pronounce perfectly? No. What does that even mean? ¿Qué significa eso? It's absurd. But do you need to make an effort to sound as close to a native speaker? Sure. I'm trying to do that in Spanish. Now, does that mean somebody with an accent is not a good speaker? No. But I believe it's something we can work on, just like everything else. If you can hear it, you can repeat it. And if you can repeat it once, you can repeat it 100 times. So if you can say, I watched it, if you can say, I watched it like that once, you can say it with every other verb that ends with that TH. Did you catch it? No, es así regular. It's not I catched it. Oops. Ahí no funciona. I was thinking of another one. Watched it, reached. Did you reach it? Yeah, I reached it. I reached it. Reached it. So these little tricks will make you sound native. And I want you to focus on that too. When we listen to our Say What soundbite, I want you to listen to how these people put their words together. I've said this a million times, but it's so important. And then when you hear those little things, you got to repeat them. Okay, here it is. This is the Say What soundbite for the second time.
I'm sorry, buddy. You seem like a really nice guy, but I just got out of a really bad relationship, so I'm not quite ready to start dating yet. But hey, maybe we could be friends.
All right, there you go, folks. Very sweet voice, I would say. Sweet voice. Sounds like a young lady. She doesn't sound like she's elderly. She sounds like young, like she's lively. Llena de vida. She's lively. Talking something about being friends and dating. So I guess that could tell us maybe the person's adolescent or, in high school or maybe college. We were talking about that before. We're talking about college as an investment. All right. And the voice, too. Where is this person from? Doesn't sound British to me, mate. Sounds very American. Like it almost sounds like stereotypical American. Like, oh my God, like I was like this and she was like that. And like everybody was like so happy because it was like such a good time, man. Okay, we don't all speak like that, but let's put it this way. When we imitate British people, we imitate the most annoying ones. So, would you like me to tell you a little story about England and its lovely countryside? That's like the annoying English person, I imagine. Well, they imitate the annoying American. O sea, que creemos cada uno que el otro es pesado. Oh, no. Because they're like, I was like, and she was like, and we were all like, but hey, it's an observation, right? So that could tell us maybe that the person is acting. Perhaps it's from a movie. All right, well, we're going to hear that another 2 times on today's show. As I said, I even believe, I'll bet that somebody's going to get it on the 3rd go. We shall see. Veremos, amigos. But right now, it's time to move on to another challenge, a challenge we call Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
That's right, amigos. Don't get stung. Que no te pique. Don't get stung by that spelling bee. And I'll give you a clue. Today, we're going to be dealing with sports. Well, hey, we're in the middle of the World Cup. Why not? I like to do things that are appropriate. Sometimes we use the French word, apropos. This is very apropos. Sounds pedantic, but we use it. You could say appropriate or apropos. No sé ni cómo escribirlo. Seguro que tiene una S muda o algo. All right, here goes today's spelling bee. As I said, has something to do with sports. These are people's names. So I guess they're all athletes. But what do these athletes all have in common? Are you guys ready? All right. This is round one of today's spelling bee. Now, remember, the spelling bee is one of the toughest parts, but don't worry, you'll get a second round. Here we go, folks. The first one is Lionel space MESSI. The next one is XAVI space HERNANDEZ. The third one is ANDRES space INIESTA. The next one is JOHAN space CRUYFF. I had to burp there. Tuve que eructar. Hey, I'm human. Okay, the next one is RONALDINHO. And the last one is DIEGO space MARADONA. All right, amigos, there you go. That is your first round of today's spelling bee. So we've already established that these are all athletes. Good. Step one. Now, what do these athletes have in common? If anything, well, I'm telling you, they definitely have something in common. Let's take a look over here in our virtual chat room and see if anybody got these on the first round. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Paco. Nice job. I'm gonna guess that Paco is a Barca supporter. Que eres culé, Paco? Well, you got them. You got all 6 of these ex-Barca players. Now, I know what you're thinking. These are 6 of the most amazing footballers or soccer players ever. Yes, that's one thing they have in common. And number 2, they all played for FC Barcelona. And I know what you guys are thinking right now. You're thinking, but Alberto, you're a Madridista. What are you doing talking about Barca players? Guys, one of the most important things in Madridismo, as you call it, in being a Madridista, is señorío. I learned this word, no lo sabía. And it's dignity. It's grace, señorío. It's losing with dignity, winning with grace. So, and sportsmanship, deportividad. That's what being a Madridista is all about. So why wouldn't I talk about an amazing team such as Barca? It's an honor to play against such amazing players and such an amazing team. So this is a Madridista saying, Barca, thanks for the amazing competition. Thanks for I know myself, I've seen so many clásicos already. I think it's one of the most exciting games of the whole year, even more exciting sometimes than the World Cup final, depending on who's playing. When you had Messi, Cristiano, come on. Okay. Not many World Cup finals have Messi and Cristiano facing off. So that was great to be able to see that. So there's me taking my hat off to you culés for, yes, having a freaking amazing team. Maybe not currently. Okay. Quizá no en este momento. But in general, throughout history, legend. Come on. We have the dream team, Messi, just unstoppable, the GOAT. Some will say Cristiano, and just the fact that I got to see both of them play every week. You know, all of us got to see them play every week in La Liga when they were here. I think people didn't realize until they were gone, like, oh my God, we just lost the two greatest soccer players ever. And we could see them every weekend playing in Almeria, playing in, you know, Santander. It's awesome. So, all right, let's go through the list one more time. And again, hats off. The reason I chose this, guys, happy birthday, culés. Today in 1899, FC Barcelona was founded, and it later developed into one of the most iconic, it says here, one of into one of Spanish football's most iconic and strongest teams. But I'm going to go a step further. And this is a Madridista, giving you guys props, dando crédito y mérito aquí, one of the most iconic teams in the world. I think, can we all agree here? Again, this is a Madridista just saying things as they are, not the way I like them to be. If it was the way I'd like them to be, I'd like, we're the kings, that's it. Okay, maybe of Europe and of La Liga, but I fear Barca. The word, I'm like, oh no, these guys, and especially when Ronaldinho was on the team, Messi, Andres Iniesta, Xavi Hernandez. All right, so let me give you these names. Obviously, some of the names I just said are in that list, but let's see if you can get them in the right order. I'm going to slow down and be very, very nice in this round. This is round 2. The first person is the GOAT, Lionel space Messi. All right, the GOAT. Number 2, Xavi space Hernandez. The third one, you guys call him Sweet because, I think one of the commentators said Sweet y su apellido Dulce. And I think everybody, doesn't matter if you're culé, madridista, if you're colchonero, I think we all love this guy because he scored the winning goal. And I'm talking about Andres space Iniesta. That little man made a whole nation really happy. Next up, we've got a controversial figure, Johan space Cruyff. And the fifth one is Ronaldinho. And the last one, Diego space Maradona. Whew. Even that time I went slow. I'm out of breath. All right, so number 1, the GOAT. No es porque es una cabra, es because some would say, and I wouldn't argue it, he is the greatest of all time. Now, we won't talk about Argentina's start in the World Cup, will we? Because for some reason, this guy doesn't do well for his country. It's okay. He does amazing. He played so well for Barca for so many years. Now he's playing for PSG in Paris. But for some reason, when he goes to play for his country, Argentina, something's missing. There's something missing there. So that's been a highly debated thing. And one of my favorite things to watch in a World Cup is the Argentinians and their reactions. Period. Punto. La concha de tu madre is excellent. I'm serious. Argentinian Twitter during the World Cup is the best thing in the whole world. Okay. Number 2, Xavi Hernandez, better known just as Xavi. Most geniuses are known just by one name, right? Einstein. Okay, it's Albert Einstein, but you don't have to say Albert. You can say Einstein, right? Well, Prince, another one like that. And Xavi Hernandez. Some would say the brain, el cerebro, behind Barca's winning team with Pep Guardiola, and also behind the Spanish national team. But don't rule out his partner his partner in crime, his sidekick, Andres Iniesta, Dulce Iniesta, sweet Iniesta, who I think everybody in the world, well, except the Dutch, menos los holandeses, everybody loves Iniesta. Doesn't matter what team you're on. He's a likable guy, isn't he? Cae bien, yo creo. He's a likable guy. Not like our next guy, Johan Cruyff. He's a bit controversial. And I think that's part of his persona too. You know, a lot of people say that, oh, Messi or Pep Guardiola, you know, they're very snappy with the press, con la prensa, but also, you know, that's their personality. And I don't think I've ever gotten mad at somebody for being who they are. So if that's what he's like, well, that's what he's like. Okay. You don't have to watch the guy. I'm not a fan. I don't like Cruyff. I think he's got a big mouth, whatever. But I think he was a great footballer. I think he did a lot of great things for the club, for Barca. And, you know, that's it. He's there. He's a figure. People know who he is all around the world. This next guy was very likable too. And I just remember once I was watching a Barca game, and this guy, of course, I was rooting for the other team because, as I always say, I have two favorite teams. It's Real Madrid, obviously, and whoever is playing against Barca. Y el que juega contra el Barça. And I remember Ronaldinho had such an amazing play. I don't know if you guys remember this. It's like he stopped it with his chest, the ball. He stopped it with his chest. He spun around, se dio media vuelta, and then he directed it down to his foot and he scored. And it was just like some kind of like karate, like, I don't know. Maybe it was, what is this one called from Brazil? I can't remember the name now. The dancing martial art. Kazumba. No, it's a different one. It's not that one. Well, it was artwork. And I remember being a Madridista, watching that game and just giving him a standing ovation. Being like, how, if you love football, you love that. You love Ronaldinho. Same thing with Messi. You don't have to like the guy, but if you like watching good football, you love watching this guy anytime the ball is in his possession. And last but not least, sometimes we forget that he played. I at least do. I forget that he played for Barca. And we're talking about El Pelusa, also known as Diego Maradona, the hand of God. Guys, we're off to a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with tons more Show with No Name. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name, exclusively on Vaughn Radio. And we're here for the second half of today's show. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, amigos. So much to cover. And we've only got, we've got under an hour, menos que una hora. Don't forget, if you can't tune in live, you can listen to all our programs on iVox, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget, you got all your Vaughn Radio shows, and you've also got my weekly podcast called For Your Ingles. For Your Ingles. It comes out every Friday, and you get a fresh, brand spanking new episode. Throughout the month of December, I won't be producing new episodes, but you will be getting access. The general public will be getting access to bonus episodes. So, amigos, make sure you're following along. Síguenos wherever you get your podcasts. You can search for Vaughn Radio. You can search for each show individually, or, of course, you can just do a search by name. You can do Alberto Alonso. I don't know. I've never tried it. Maybe, I'm sure if you do Alberto Alonso, maybe the show with interesting. Experiment. I will as well. In fact, as you guys know, I download my podcast every week. I have about 7 or 8 different podcast players on my phone. I'm not joking. I have a folder. Remember, this is a false friend. A carpet es una moqueta, and a folder es una carpeta. So I literally have a folder with all of this. All right, so amigos, we've got so much to do on today's show. Let's get cracking, because vamos a ponernos en marcha with today's homophones.
Homophones, homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, it's homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. 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 Show it no, show it no, show it no, show it no name.
That's right, amigos. It's homophones only on the show with no name. And here's where we're going to take a look at words that might be a bit tricky. We'll see if you guys find them tricky. The first word is navegar. Okay? Navegar. En barco con vela, right? Navegar. Okay. That's nice. The ocean waves. Anybody feel like getting cozy? Kick off your shoes. Enjoy. So the word is vela, navegar. ¿Qué más? Alerón. So the top part of a submarine. Esa no se conoce tanto, eh? Also, it's, zarpar. No? I'm looking for other ones. A todo trapo, you can say, con la palabra full delante, excuse me. All right, so that's your first word. Your first word is navegar, vela, and as we've noticed, many other usages as well. The next word is a word that is venta. Venta. Una venta. Una transacción. Si le ponemos ese, es ventas, ¿no? Seguro que lo has visto en las ventanas, cuando hay ventas. El departamento de ventas también, cuando lleva S, pero lo queremos sin la S, ¿ok? So, the word zarpar, navegar, vela, and the word venta, ventas, departamento de ventas, chollo, ¿no? También, what do you call them? Rebajas. También. Wow, a lot of meanings there in both words. So what do you guys think? What are those two words? And do those two words sound exactly the same or not? And also, I'm going to give you guys today's Say What soundbite for the third time. Everybody write down what you hear. Hopefully somebody will get it soon.
I'm sorry, buddy. You seem like a really nice guy, but I just got out of a really bad relationship, so I'm not quite ready to start dating yet. But hey, maybe we could be friends.
Okay, sounds like somebody has been relegated to the friend zone. La zona de amigos. Oh yeah, once a girl says to you, "Oh, you're such a great friend," it's done. You're in the friend zone, and it's hard, if not impossible. You know me, I'm an optimist. It's impossible to get out of the friend zone, which we all want friends, but not always. I remember lots of times they're like, "Yeah, I want to be your friend, but..." She's like, "Oh, we're great friends." I'm like, "So nothing then, huh?" So it sounds like something like that if you ask me. But remember, I want your opinion. Let's see if anybody got it yet. I'm going to look over here in our chat room. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Alex. Oh, yeah. And the good thing is you're going to hear it another time. You got it after 3 listens, which is totally impressive. Impresionante. Impressive. All right, let's take a look here then, my amigos. The first word in our homophone section. We're going to go back to homophones now. I've given you some time over here. The first word is the word sail. Sail. Now, it's interesting because I've heard students say sail, sail, sail. It's not sail, it's sail, ale, air, ale. Like esa cerveza, ale, suena como ese sonido, ale. Es como decir L, L, pero no, right? Ale, sail. And if we look at it in context, well, tomorrow we are going to sail, or we're going to go sailing. Acuérdate, con actividades empleamos el go más el gerundio. Are you going to go camping with us when we go sailing? Yeah, I'd love to go hiking too. Hacer senderismo. And also the sails are the parts that are up there, right? Las velas, the actual fabric part that makes the ship move when it catches a gust of wind. And the word gust, como Gustavo, sin el avo, the word gust is una ráfaga de viento, a gust of wind, which, as we know, propels the ship forward. By the way, there's an FYI episode on sailing. And I have a very special guest on board with me, pun intended. His name is Brendan. He's excellent. If you guys haven't followed Brendan, he's an Irish guy living in Spain. He teaches on Twitter. Brendan M. Ryan. Check him out if you're not following him. I know some of you are following him already. But he joined me on the sailing episode of FYI, and it was smooth sailing. De viento en popa. Okay, so now we know that first word, sail. S-A-I-L. Okay, oh, and remember I said a todo gas, full sail. También hemos visto full speed ahead or full steam ahead, right? I'm also thinking of a song which is by David Gray, I believe. Sail away with me, honey. Hold my heart in your hand. Sail away with me, baby, tonight. Sail away. Beautiful song. And then you've got Enya. Now, the song is not called Sail Away, but it should be. It's called Orinoco Flow. El flujo del Orinoco, del Rio Orinoco. And in the song, it's an awesome song. We've looked at it here on the show before. She goes, sail away, sail away, sail away. Zarpar, no? Sail away. También zarpar is to set sail. To set sail. All right, so the second word, how does that one sound? Voy a decir, hay unas rebajas en velas. Okay? There are some really good sales on sales. There are some really good sales on sales. Do those sound the same? Absolutely. Nice job to everybody who said that the word sale, S-A-I-L, sounds exactly like the word sale, S-A-L-E. Those two words sound exactly the same. Now, I know when you look at one of them in Spanish, it can be confusing. ¿Sale? ¿Sales? Right? Sales? ¿Sales? Bueno, sí, venga, why not? So they sound exactly the same. And I know that's a silly sentence there, isn't it? Well, there's a sale on sales. Okay, it's silly. But if it helps you remember that first word is not sale, then you'll remember other words, because there are a lot of other words that end with A-I-L. In fact, there is a word and that is A-I-L. And ail is estar enfermo, right? We talk about an ailment, okay, as una enfermedad. It's a little bit antiquated, but we use it, right? Ail. And we have an expression for what ails you. A ver, sí. Para lo que te enferma, o sea, es una medida. Esto te va a curar. This is for what ails you. Y acuérdate, cuando vimos la primera parte, la palabra ale, A-L-E, tipo de cerveza, vamos a ver cómo lo ponen aquí, porque sé que no es rubia, ¿eh? Cerveza tipo ale, ¿en serio? Ok. So, piensa en esta frase también, a lo mejor tiene más sentido. This ale is for what ails you. O sea, Inglaterra acaba de perder su partido, and you're down in the dumps because you're English, you're a British man, you're my mate, and your friend says, hey, mate, this ale is for what ails you. They sound exactly the same. So A-L-E and A-I-L sound the same. So if we add S's, they do as well. Excellent job to everybody who participated. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to treat you to the movies. Are you ready? Let's go. Name that movie. That's right. That's right. It's Name That Movie only on the show with no name. And look what I said there. I don't know if you caught that. I didn't say I'm going to invite you to the movies, because I'm going to invite you to the movies means, come on, you can come with me. I'm going, you can come. I'm going to treat you to the movies. Voy a invitar, pagando. So very different. I'm treating, guys. It's on me. Esos son dos formas de decir, invito yo. It's my treat. I'm treating. It's on me. So, guys, enjoy, and let's learn some English from today's flick. If you know the movie, you can let us know in our virtual chat room. Here is the trailer. An eccentric, if not charming, Southern professor and his crew pose as a classical ensemble in order to rob a casino, all under the nose of his unsuspecting but sharp old landlady. Wow. Repleto de vocabulario. It's chock full of vocabulary. And we're just looking at the trailer. We haven't even gotten into the scene yet. An eccentric. If you're eccentric, you're weird. I think eccentrico. An eccentric, if not charming, sino encantador, Southern professor. Now, quiero que pronunciéis esta palabra, que es interesante, porque es South. I'm from the South. I'm a Southerner. Sureño, Southerner. He comes from the southern part of the United States. ¿Viste lo que pasó ahí? El sonido vocal cambia. So it's not southern. I live in the southern part. No, southern. And the same, north, the vowel sound stays the same, but the TH changes. So I live in the north. I live in the northern. ¿Ves? Northern. Es como... Hay más vibración en el north. Northern hemisphere. I live in the southern. Pronuncia conmigo, por favor, en voz alta. So, if not charming southern professor and his crew, su equipo, pose, posan de, no? Hacen de. They pose as a classical ensemble. We use the French word ensemble. How do you say this in Spanish? But we say ensemble. Now, I don't know if that's how the French pronounce it. I'm telling you how Americans pronounce it. Conjunto, grupo, o banda, ensemble. In order to, y recomiendo a todos mis alumnos que uséis esto cuando queréis ser formales. Because you can say to do this, right? Or you can say in order to do this. Y el in order to, a mí me suena más formal, pero hay momentos cuando queremos ser más formales. So in order to rob a casino, robar un casino, I think that's the same, all under the nose. Esto es en la cara de la otra persona, bajo su nariz, we say. Under the nose of his unsuspecting, que no sospecha nada. His unsuspecting, but sharp, espabilada, but sharp old landlady. All right, let's see if anybody knows it. As sharp as espabilada, and I forgot to say, landlady, casera. Landlord es la persona que te alquila. Landlady es si es una mujer. And you, if you are renting, you are a tenant. Inquilino, tenant. All right. So some good vocabulary over there. Let's go on over to our chat room and see if anybody figured it out. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Diego. The movie is called Lady Killers. That's right. The movie's Lady Killers. It came out in the year 2004. And I remember seeing this one at the movies. I can still remember the smell of the popcorn. Oh, no. But you know what? Anytime I think about the movies, before I think of anything else, I think of, can't wait to get that popcorn. Yeah, for me, popcorn and movies go hand in hand. I think for a lot of people. But, oh, man, what a great snack. And I mean that. I want to tell you guys this as a popcorn, as an advocate, un defensor, advocate se escribe, as an advocate for popcorn. Popcorn doesn't have to be unhealthy. In fact, it can be a very healthy, filling snack. Un tentempié. You know how we say a tentempié? We say a pick-me-up, un recógeme, un levántame. Same thing. Think about it. So as a nice pick-me-up in the middle of the day, we're like, I'm a little bit hungry, but it's not really a meal time. Have a couple handfuls of popcorn. And I don't mean microwave popcorn. I mean, you can make your own. And A, it's cheaper. B, there's a lot less sodium, unless you're pouring sodium on it. And I imagine it's a lot more natural. I don't know how many preservatives they put in there. ¿Qué? ¿Preservativos meten ahí? No, it's a false friend. Conservantes, preservatives. So I always say, it's like everything. Chicken can be healthy. Now, if you fry it, you deep fry it, you serve it with bacon and cheese and a big, heavy, thick sauce, it's not healthy anymore. I remember reading something that some of these fast food chains, their salads have more calories than their main hamburger. Why? Well, those dressings, esos aliños. So got to be careful. Sometimes we're thinking, I'm going to eat a salad. And then we dump dressing on it. It's like, you just added 300 calories there in 2 scoops. And dos glup, glup. All right, let's take a look at this movie. It's a great movie directed by Joel Cohen. I'm sure you guys know the Coens from the Coen brothers, the famous Coen brothers. Big fan of theirs. Tom Hanks was in this movie. J.K. Simmons as well. You know J.K. Simmons from Whiplash. He was the drum teacher in Whiplash. And these guys, man, huge. They are the guys who do Fargo, the Coen brothers. Fargo, True Grit, No Country for Old Men, Lady Killers, and so much more. They really are, in my opinion, very prolific filmmakers. I was going to say in comedy, but they've done some straight stuff too. Straight is like sin tanta comedia. But I feel like their movies always have a comedic element. And even if it's not, They always have a comedic element in them. Let's take a look at the scene here. Professor G.H. Dorr says, to penetrate the vault here this afternoon, and penetrar, I think you know that one, to penetrate. And a vault is, I think it's caja fuerte o acorazonada or something like that. Bóveda. No, esta no es. Cámara acorazada, caja fuerte. A vault. In a bank, it's usually in the basement, and it's where they keep the money. Another way to say it is a safe, but usually if I think of a safe, I think of uno más pequeño que tienes en tu casa, where you have a lock on it, okay? But if I think of like a big room in a bank underground, I think of a vault, okay? A vault. It's also el caballete o el caballo. We talked about that last week in our sports trivia we looked at. Okay, so let's take a look then. He says, to penetrate the vault here this afternoon. Well, hold on a second. I got to do this in my Southern accent. What am I thinking here? Going to get into character. Sorry about that, folks. To penetrate the vault here this afternoon, while Mrs. Munson is at church, having blasted that little old rock to pieces during Mrs. Munson's choir practice. So while she's at church, mientras está en la iglesia, having blasted, okay, to blast, I think it's very self-explanatory, but if not, there's your sound effect. That little old rock to pieces, empiezas, during Mrs. Munson's choir practice, su ensayo de el coro, choir. Es interesante porque tiene C-H-O-I-R, pero no es choir, es choir. Choir. Y la expresión you're preaching to the choir es que me dices que no, yo no sé todavía. No, me lo dices o me lo cuentas. You're preaching to the choir. It says, Garth, can you run us through the game plan for what remains of our tunnel? Garth, ¿nos puedes repasar el plan? The game plan, we say. For what remains of the tunnel, por lo que queda en el túnel, because they're boring a tunnel. ¿Qué? ¿Aburridos? Well, to bore es hacer un agujero. Do you get it? Elon Musk's company is the boring company. Aha. Ha, 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 ha. So then Garth Pancake, love that name. Su nombre es Garth Pancake, says, of course. Why, it's Child's Play now. And Child's Play es una película, la de, hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? But also Child's Play es pan comido. Why, it's Child's Play now. Easiest thing in the world. Only a couple of feet separate us from the vault. Solo un par de pies nos separa de la cámara. Esta, la caja fuerte. Just the usual spade work, and a spade is a small shovel, el del jardín, el pico that you use, I think, in the garden. Just the usual spade work until we get to the masonry of the vault. And this is a good word to know too, masonry. No me la sé en español, but Google knows it. Albañilería, okay? It's a difficult one. Masonry, it's working with stones and bricks, right? If you're a mason, vamos a ver cómo llaman a mason. Mason, albañil, pero también es un masón, because I guess the original ones were masons. So he goes, until we get to the masonry of the vault, and then we'll just drill through. Drill. Zzz, we'll drill through. We've looked at that word before. A drill es un ejercicio también. A fire drill? What's a fire drill? A fire drill es un ensayo para un incendio. I don't remember the exact words, pero es una práctica de un incendio, a fire drill. And then the professor says, and will you be able to wield the drill with your maimed extremity? Wow. To wield. Aguantar. We usually use it, though, with a weapon. He was wielding a weapon. W-I-E-L-D. To wield. A ver cómo lo ponen. Ejercer, hacer uso, empuñar, blandir. I didn't know these words in Spanish. Usually we use it when someone's holding a weapon. So here it's a drill. And will you be able to wield the drill with your maimed extremity? An extremity is an arm or a leg or something like that. And maimed is que te falta, cortado, maimed, mutilado, maimed, M-A-I-M-E-D. Some great vocabulary we're looking at here. And then Gar says, oh, well, yeah, I should think so. Pues yo creo que sí. Yeah, it's only one finger, solo un dedo. inhibits me in doing finer work, of course. Me frena de hacer mejor trabajo. And I'll always have to live with that. Siempre tendré que vivir con eso. I'll always have to live with that. And then he says, I'm even saying this in my accent here. Maybe I'm just thinking out loud here. Quizá estoy pensando en voz alta. Maybe since, as you say, there will be problems later. Maybe, and I actually mentioned this, de verdad, mencioné esto, to this mountain girl. She agrees with me. So it's not just one person's opinion. Maybe I should get a little extra compensation for the accident. Somewhat larger share, un trozo más grande. Why, if this was any other line of work, si fuera cualquier otro tipo de trabajo, I'd be getting workman's comp. And workman's comp is workman's compensation. Es compensación por una lesión en el trabajo. Guys, we have to go to our final commercial break. We'll be right back with the fourth and final part of today's show. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. Hope you guys are having fun and learning some English along with us. Don't forget, after today's show, you've got the lovely Jules Linares and her program, Let's Get Random. And if you haven't marked your calendars yet, we've got Vaughn Radio Trivia Night on the 30th. If you're listening to this live, that's tomorrow. It's a Wednesday, and it's going to be tons of fun. It's hosted by Rob, Andy, and The Notch, or Nachete, as we lovingly call him. But folks, we've got to put the pedal to the metal because we've got a lot to do. It's time for today's Double Trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It's Double Trouble only on the show with no name. And I really can't believe I'm here and learn all day long. And not just learn English, but learn about a wide range of different things. And again, guys, if you want more information about our different things, whether it's classes or materials, you can go to our website, grupovon.com. And also remember, if you've got the loot, si tienes la pasta, I highly recommend Vaughan Town. Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughan Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughan.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughan Town. That's right, amigos. Vaughan Town. It's Vaughan Town, and it is one of our star programs. Again, I know it's not in everybody's budget, but we've got something for every budget out there. And if you can't afford even a book, we won't hold it against you either. You still have Vaughan Radio for free. You have our posts, which, as I said, just by following Vaughan Radio and our programs and then following us on social media, I mean, you're getting so much content. I guarantee just with that, you're getting more content than if you would take like a 2-hour class every day. Because, okay, you get a 2-hour class. This is the show with no name. But at the same time, you also have this stuff that we post, the videos, the memes, the texts, all of this stuff, this additional content just to help make sure that you got it and that all of it has sunk in, que lo has asimilado. We use the word to sink in. No, muchas veces alguien te puede decir, let that sink in. Asimila eso. All right, well, let me give you today's double trouble, and let's see if you guys can figure it out. I think it's an easy one. We'll see. Hicieron auto-stop a Las Vegas y se casaron. There you go. Now, this also can have the connotation of casarse, un poco dar el sí, It can be casarse en la iglesia, pero también tiene la connotación de irse a casarse, a la fuga a little bit. We'll take a look at all these things in just a moment. But I'm giving you some clues here. Hicieron auto-stop a Las Vegas y se casaron. You have to use the same word twice. That's why we call it double trouble. And we're going to listen to our Say What soundbite now for the fourth and final time. Folks, please write down what you hear.
I'm sorry, buddy. You seem like a really nice guy, but I just got out of a really bad relationship, so I'm not quite ready to start dating yet. But hey, maybe we could be friends.
All right, maybe we can be friends. Those dreaded words. Oh, man. How many times I heard that when I was a kid? I'm like, I really like you. And she's like, I think you're a great friend. And I'm like, damn it. Now, normally making friends is a great thing. But when you're young and you're looking to hook up, ligar, we looked at that word last week with snooky, right? To make out, enrollarse, to hook up. Yeah, I think for maybe 28 years of my life, that was my main goal. Okay, not 28 years, from maybe 13 to 30 until I, finally decided to settle down. To settle down, I think you say sentar la cabeza. También si le decimos a alguien settle down es cálmate. So it kind of makes sense. Desde que me calmé. Hey, interpret it however you want. Let's go over to today's double trouble and see if anybody has figured it out. I'm looking over here and we have got Carmen, who has figured it out. Nice job, Carmen. I think, did you get it yesterday too, Carmen, possibly? Unbelievable. Great job. Okay, so hicieron auto-stop. Now, primero, como me pongas la E delante de la S in inglés, we're going to have a problem. I'm telling you right now. But we don't say auto-stop. Pero esa stop, mira, it makes my ears bleed, to be honest. So, hicieron auto-stop. Well, you can say they hitchhiked. To hitchhike. Por favor, di esta palabra conmigo porque la ves y dices, ¿cómo se...? To hitchhike. Que hike lo sabemos de hacer senderismo. To go hiking. Si yo te digo take a hike, te digo vete a freír asparagus, right? Take a hike. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to write that one down. Take a hike for our videos. As you guys know, if you're following me on social media, I'm always posting videos. Take a hike. Vete a tomar por saco o a tomar viento. Hey, we were talking about sailing before. Hey, all right. So they hitchhiked to Las Vegas and got hitched. Correct, Carmen. Excellent job. Another way to say this is they hitched a ride. So you can say to hitchhike, which I think, listen, the way I would explain these is to hitchhike is like what you do when you're looking for a ride. Like really, you don't know the person. And normally we use to hitch a ride como, te doy el ejemplo. Tú me dices, Alberto, I'm going to head downtown this afternoon. Do you want to hitch a ride? Voy a ir al centro esta tarde. ¿Quieres venir conmigo? ¿Quieres que te lleve en coche? So again, the hitch a ride can be much more, it's much wider, the meaning. Whereas hitchhiking, I think of just putting up your thumb and waiting for some stranger to come pick you up. But to hitch a ride is el que usaríamos. Hey, man, I'm going to the airport, and I know you're going that way. Can I hitch a ride? And if we look at the word hitch, it actually makes a lot of sense, okay? The word hitch, it's actually a movie with Will Smith where he tries to hitch people together. So a hitch is enganchar. So this thing on the back of the truck, donde enganchas el camión y el trailer, that's a hitch right there. Okay, gancho, enganche, it's called here. So it makes sense. Te conectas a otro vehículo. You're getting hitched, right? And we've got a really good expression. If something goes off without a hitch, it went perfectly. All right, no había problemas. Problemas. Y en este caso, hitch es impedimento, obstáculo. Apúntatelo porque va todo junto. It's not to go off without hitch. It's to go off without a hitch. Hey, how did your surprise party go the other day for your sister? Oh, great. It went off without a hitch, sin ningún problema. Another way to say that, it was smooth sailing. ¿Ves? Sin querer, hemos conectado esas dos ideas aquí en el programa. So there you go, folks. To get hitched, to get married. Another way to say it, to tie the knot, atar el nudo. They hitched a ride to Vegas and they got hitched. Oh, and by the way, interesting enough, we have an episode of FYI on weddings, bodas, and we have an episode of FYI on Las Vegas. Remember, wherever you get your Vaughn podcasts, just search for Your English and get ready to learn and to laugh. And speaking of laughing, it's time for Your Joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking. That's right, amigos. You're joking. Estás de coña. And I'm going to give you some jokes here, and we'll see if you get these jokes. If you get them, you can explain them to me and to your fellow students. So, funniest thing here, I learned a new word in English. What? Get out of here. Calla. Get out of here. Out of, outa. Get out of here. Right? Lo que te estaba diciendo al principio del programa. ¿Dónde unimos las palabras? ¿Cómo? out of, get out of here. Calla, ya, no me jodas. También es lárgate de aquí. But in this, from the tone of my voice, calla, no me digas, right? Yeah, I learned a new word I didn't know. So what is that? Does that mean I know every word in the English language? Do you know every word in the Spanish language? I guarantee you don't. I'll find one in the dictionary. So I'm even learning words in English. Now, this isn't a very common word, but I thought it was a very punny joke. Punny. Gracioso porque hay juego de palabras. All right, let's take a look at this joke. What do you call a sail with only two corners? We looked at the word sail, vela. What do you call a sail with only two corners? ¿Cómo llamarías a una vela con solo dos esquinas? I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue. No? Well, here's the word. Now, I know the original meaning here. La expresión I haven't got a clue. No tengo ni la más remota. I haven't got a clue. I haven't the foggiest, decimos también. So we know the word clue because we talk about that word here on the show with no name. I'm always giving you guys clues for our famous birthdays, our movies. Os estoy dando pistas, right? So we know that word, clue. Hay un juego, cluedo. You call it cluedo? We call it clue, a secas. I don't know why you added the D-O. So clue. I knew that word. I had a clue. But I had no clue that there was another word spelled C-L-E-W used in sailing, okay? In lo que es navegar. And it's el puño de escota. It's the corner of the sail. It says here, el puño de escota. Now, I had no idea. I had no clue that there was a homophone for the word clue. And I've been speaking English for 45 years. So look, if you guys didn't have a clue, don't worry, I didn't either. So you get the joke now? The corner of the sail. So what do you call a sail with only two corners? I haven't got a clue. Me falta o no tengo una esquina. All right, here's one more. One more, I promise, the last one. How do you make a sick sailboat feel better? Okay, or how do you, te doy una expresión muy nativa, how do you nurse it back to health? ¿Cómo le curas para que vuelva a estar sano? How do you nurse a sick sailboat back to health? Give it some vitamin C. Now, anybody who has Instagram will be familiar with this one. Vitamin C. Es un juego de palabras que se ve mucho en los hashtags de verano, ¿no? Y ponen vitamin C. Evidentemente es vitamina C, like stuff that we get from oranges, lemons, from citric stuff. But also vitamin C is vitamina mar. O sea, that salt that you feel, that smell in the air. You know how the C can be soothing? It can even be therapeutic. Well, that's what we say. We talk about vitamin C. O sea, la letra C y el mar suenan igual. That was a really easy one, but hey, if you didn't know it, now you know it. You'll understand those double meanings on Instagram. And folks, we've got a party to attend. It's time for famous birthday trivia.
Birthdays for you. Birthdays for me. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Birthdays for him. Birthdays for her. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. That's right. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. And we're going to take a look at three people who are celebrating a birthday, and I want you to tell me who these people are. I might have given you some clues already. Clues, pistas, no el escote de la, clue. No C-L-E-W, sino C-L-U-E. The first person was born in 1951. the same year as my mother. I judge everything. I know everybody does BC, before Christ, and AD, Anno Domini, but not me. I do BL, before Linda, and AL, after Linda. I always remember the year my mom was born, even more than my own sometimes. Well, this person was born in the same year as my mom. He was one of the 2 original guitarists of the rock band Boston. Okay. And Boston is a band that's obviously from its namesake, Boston, Massachusetts. And they were huge in the 70s and 80s. In fact, I think it was interesting because just as they were starting to wane in popularity is when I started listening to music. So I just missed them, but I was familiar with a lot of their songs. One of the greatest songs ever written was written by Boston. More than a feeling, I think I'm dreaming. More than a feeling. Es un himno. It's an anthem. They've got a lot of other great songs. Peace of mind, que significa paz de mente, tranquilidad, peace of mind. Foreplay, que es foreplay? Todo antes del sexo. Wow, learning some really good words here. The next one, smoking. Eso es fumando. Pero también si decimos, oh man, she's smoking. Está buenísima. Smoking hot. I imagine they meant both there. Está fumando y está todo buena. Don't look back. Very good phrasal verb. No mires hacia atrás. To hitch a ride. You know that song, Hitch a Ride? Well, you know what it means because we looked at it in today's Double Trouble. Number 2, this person was born in 1954. Him and his brother are directors, screenwriters, and producers. They did Raising Arizona, Fargo, The Big Lebowski, True Grit, No Country for Old Men, and, oh yeah, I forgot. Today's Name That Movie was directed by one of them, and he's the one who's having a birthday today. The Name That Movie we looked at was Lady Killers, if you need a little reminder. And last but not least, she was born in 1976, an American actress who rose to prominence in mostly comedic roles, but cute comedic roles. She played Cindy Campbell in the Scary Movie series. I'm sure you've all seen Scary Movies. She was in The Hot Chick, which we looked at with Rob Schneider. She was in Lost in Translation, Brokeback Mountain, The House Bunny. I mean, she's been in so many movies. And she's just, no, not likable, lovable. Tienes que quererla. All right, let's see our 3 famous birthdays. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, from the group Boston, Barry Gaudreau. Number 2, Joel Cohen, one half of the Coen brothers. And number 3, actress Anna Faris. And this is going to bring us over to today's Say What soundbite, which was from the movie Scary Movie 2. You've got to see these if you haven't seen them. They parody or they spoof, otra forma de decir parodiar, nunca me sale esta palabra. They spoof, they parody the Scream franchise and many other horror movies. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Well, I love these movies. And this is a scene where a guy is asking her out on a date, and she's saying she just wants to be friends. And then the next scene, he just like beats her up. Le da una paliza. And she's like, what are you doing? She's like, I punch my friends. Which I thought was funny. It's like, oh, you want to be friends? I fart, I punch it, I act like an animal in front of my friends. No. So I thought it was a funny scene. It's full of funny little moments. And she says, I'm sorry, buddy. Que es buenísimo. Colega. Su nombre es Buddy, pero es colega. It's perfect. I'm sorry, buddy. You seem like a really nice guy. Uf, todo lo que sigue aquí no puede ser bueno. You seem like a really nice guy, but I just got out of a really bad relationship. Esto es de guión, ¿eh? No digo de película, pero de guión. So I'm not quite ready to start dating yet. No estoy lista para ver otra gente, para empezar a salir todavía. But hey, maybe we could be friends. Quizá podríamos ser amigos. Here it is, Anna Faris, the birthday girl in Scary Movie 2.
I'm sorry, buddy. You seem like a really nice guy, but I just got out of a really bad relationship, so I'm not quite ready to start dating yet. But hey, maybe we could be friends.
All right, folks, there you go. And it's time for the final section today. Name that lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is. Nope. Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Lyric only on the show with no name. And also, this is where I'd like to just take a moment to say thank you for being here today and every day. Thank you for all the participation. So many people participating. It's amazing to have so many people excited about learning English. I say it every day, but keep it up because your energy, your drive keeps motivating me, and not just me, but also my coworkers, my friends at Vaughn Radio. When we get together and have beers, you know what we talk about? Man, don't we have the coolest students in the world? I'm serious. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. ¿Qué? Estás soplando humo por mi culo. Yeah, well, this is an expression that means no estoy haciendo la pelota. I'm not just saying that. If not, I would just say something else, right? I would tell you, anything else. For me, it's I'm pretty lucky. For me, since I was a little kid, it's hard for me to lie. A mí me cuesta mentir. It's really hard. In fact, so hard that sometimes people can read my face. I'm not really good at a poker face. O sea, you know exactly what I'm thinking. You know if I'm happy. You know if I'm upset. I try to hide it, but I can't. I guess I'm a bit expressive. But I think all of you can see this smile. And this smile on my face is because of you guys. Thank you so much once again for all your energy, your effort, your encouragement. Okay, I don't need the encouragement. I appreciate it, but I love the way you encourage each other. Como os alentáis uno al otro. So keep that up. I think that's one of the most beautiful things in humanity, seeing people support and encourage other people, especially these days when I feel like there are a lot of forces out there that are trying to pull us apart. And I'm here to say, I don't give a shit if you're left wing. I don't care if you're right wing. I don't care if you worship Mohammed or Jesus. If you're a cool person, you're okay in my book. Decimos en inglés, you're okay in my book. A mí me vales. All right, the song here is Boston. Well, Boston is the group. The song is Hitch a Ride. And to hitch a ride, which we already looked at, to hitch a ride es que te lleven en coche o hacer auto-stop. We already looked at the nuances. Ya hemos mirado los matices. So thank you so much, guys, and look up the lyrics. This way you can sing this song with me. It's Hitch a Ride by Boston. Thanks again, folks.
There's night in New York City, smoke like water runs inside.
Hasta ahí.